Hey, everyone! What's up? I'm Salma, and welcome back! Today, I'm super excited to have you join me for a very special episode. We're diving into a full, immersive English speaking session where we'll practice shadowing and fluency together from start to finish, whether you're at home, on the go, or just relaxing. This is your chance to speak along with me, mimic the natural flow, and build that confidence in English. Let's make this fun and effective. If you're enjoying this practice and finding it helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means the world and helps create more content like this. Ready? Let's jump right in and start speaking. Dawn was not just light. It was a presence. A soft orange hue crept through the curtains, like a silent messenger announcing the end of a dream and the start of awareness. In that space between sleep and wakefulness, where heaviness is sweet upon the eyelids, the bell rang. It was a sharp sound in the room's silence, and I turned it off with a half-asleep hand. I didn't want to leave the warmth. But my body began its automatic motion, arms stretching, legs searching for the floor, a torso rising slowly. I sat on the edge of the old world and yawned a yawn that filled my lungs with new air. I walked to the window like someone moving through a dream. The birds outside were composing a small symphony for a waking world. Upon opening the glass, a cool breeze entered like a pure touch upon the face. I inhaled deeply. The scent of the early morning was pure, like a blank page yet to be written. I looked up, a pale blue sky turning to gold. A day being born. In the neighboring garden stood the neighbor. He was watering his plants with water from a bright green hose. Droplets flying in the air, creating miniature rainbows. On his feet were old slippers, and on his lips a quiet smile which he waved to me when he saw me. I waved back. "Good morning," he said. "Morning of light," I replied. His retriever dog sat watching the street with vigilant eyes, then let out a single bark as a greeting before settling with dignity. On the way to school, a flock of children passed. Some dragged their feet slowly, their large backpacks big on their small bodies. Others ran and laughed as if the road itself were a playground. I saw a girl seriously chewing a banana, a boy pushing a small stone with his shoe, and a woman carrying an infant who stared at the world with round, wonder-filled eyes, while his mother sang him a song whose words I did not know. The tiles were cold under my feet in the bathroom. The artificial light revealed messy hair in the mirror. I smiled at myself. I moved the brush up and down, then rinsed with refreshing water in the kitchen. The smell of coffee had preceded it, fragrant, strong, like a promise of revival. My sister was pouring the dark liquid into 2 cups.
One for her, the other for my father, who sat at the table, turning newspaper pages and sipping his first sips leisurely. "The weather is nice today," he said without lifting his eyes. "Good morning," we said together. From behind the closed door, my brother's voice echoed under the shower, singing the current pop song he always is sang in the bathroom, as if the water turned his voice into something greater. I smiled. My mother was in front of the stove, scrambling eggs in a pan and cutting peaches for a fruit salad. I sat with them around the small, crowded table, toasted bread, melting butter, golden honey, and warm eggs. We drank tea in a silence laden with comfort. The small chaos happened when my little brother's juice cup overturned under his hand. Orange liquid on the wood. Everyone exclaimed, "Oh!" And then the exclamation turned to laughter when we saw his startled face turn into a shy smile. He wiped the liquid with a napkin, and his mother helped him. We talked about the day's plans, who would go where, who needed what. It was ordinary talk, but it was the fabric from which our family morning was woven. I packed my bag, notebook, pen, a snack, and a water bottle. I put on a thick jacket because it was cold outside. I kissed my mother on the cheek and said goodbye to the rest. "Don't forget your lunch," my sister sighed. I nodded in thanks. Outside, the street was a theater of life, a dog wagging its tail for its owner. Two students, talking and laughing, wearing the same school uniform. A mail carrier, on his bicycle ringing his bell to create a path. I reached the bus stop, where a diverse group stood waiting for them. A woman speaking a fast foreign language on her phone. An old man reading his newspaper slowly, observing the world over his glasses. And a boy listening to music with a head nodding to a private rhythm. A cat sleeping under a garden bench was the only world that wasn't waiting for anything. When the bus approached with the heavy sound of its engine, the door opened like a metallic mouth. I said hello to the driver and scanned my card. I sat by a window. The city from there seemed like a silent film. A man sweeping the sidewalk with regular circular motions. A child waving from an apartment window. A bakery from which steam clouds carrying the smell of fresh bread emerged. A small bridge under which calm water swam with a mother duck and her ducklings. Everything was moving, and the bus passed through it like a slow camera shot. The building was tall and gray, but the morning sun set its windows ablaze. At the door, I met Sarah. She smiled and said good morning. The office was quiet at that early hour. The dim ceiling lights and the morning sun drawing golden rectangles on the carpet. I put my jacket on the chair and started the computer. Its quiet, humming sound was the beginning of the ritual. 5 email messages. 1 from the manager requesting the report, and another from a client asking for details. I replied to them with focus. My colleague John passed by holding a cup of coffee. "Big day today," he said. "Yes, a lot of tasks," I replied. I opened the task notebook. The list was long. I started with the report, corrected, added, saved. After minutes, the manager's reply arrived. "Excellent work." "Thank you," I smiled. A small feeling of satisfaction. At 10:30, the small kitchen was the meeting place. Sarah pouring coffee, and Jane coming with homemade cookies that smelled like chocolate. We sat, talked about movies, about John's bad jokes that made us laugh despite them. The light in the room was warm, the sounds comforting. After a quarter of an hour, we returned to our desks. There was still much to do. At noon, the team meeting was in the large room. 6 people around a long table. The manager talking about goals. John asking, Sarah presenting an idea. Jane writing on the board. I shared my idea too. "Great teamwork," the manager said. I returned to my desk feeling accomplished. I took out my lunch, pasta with sauce from last night. In the break room, the smell of food was mixed. Soup, orange, and Sarah's sandwich. Jane sat with her rice and chicken. John came and had forgotten his fork. We laughed. Jane handed him an extra fork. "You saved my life," he said. We ate and talked about a concert Sarah attended over the weekend. The break was small but necessary, like deep breaths in the middle of the workday. Before returning, I went out to the small garden next to the building. The sun was bright, to children playing with a ball. A woman walking her dog, a man reading under a tree. I sat on a bench, closed my eyes for a moment. The air carried the scent of flowers. I regained my energy. The afternoon passed quietly. Phone calls, email, organizing files. John passed by and offered a piece of chocolate. "For energy," he said. At 4:30, the pleasant feeling of tiredness that comes after intensive work began. I finished the tasks, cleaned the desk, turned off the screen. "See you tomorrow," Sarah said. "Goodbye," I said. On the evening bus, the city wore a different dress. The sun was leaning towards sunset, coloring the sky peach. I saw a flower vendor placing his colorful flowers in buckets. A fruit seller on the corner smiling at his customers. And a bakery with its warm front lit up. Everything seemed softer, less hurried. When I opened the home door, the smell of garlic and rice greeted me. My sister in the kitchen, my mother folding clothes. My little brother running to show me a drawing. "Wow, that's beautiful," I said. Dinner was a sacred ritual, 5 plates on a tablecloth. A small candle and intertwined conversations. My father talked about his work. My mother about the neighbors. My sister about a lost dog she helped. Laughter was easy. After dinner, we washed the dishes together. Then we drank tea in the living room. The TV playing soft music, the cat playing with a box. My father reading the weather report. I called my grandmother. Her voice on the speaker was as warm as a blanket. "I was just thinking about you," she said. I told her about my day, and she told me about the tomatoes in her garden. I read a story to my little brother about a bird flying around the world. He listened, his eyes growing wide. When his room, the night outside the window was now black and dotted with faint light points. I wrote one line in the diary. Today was an ordinary fabric of extraordinary moments. I turned off the light. In the dark, I heard a distant dog's bark. The rustle of tree leaves and the silence of the sleeping city. I closed my eyes and felt that the day, with all its small details, had been completed. Sleep came like a gentle wave, carrying with it a beloved tiredness and a deep calm.